Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you didn't guess by the picture, today is going to be about some sunscreens. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a dermatologist, and I don't pretend to be one. So this video is going to be about sunscreens that I've tried, some of my favorite ones at the moment, and also just a brief synopsis on what sunscreen, like the difference of sunscreens, just to make it super simple without being too sciencey, getting in chemistry, because that's not what I specialize in. So without further ado, let's delve right into it. You've seen the picture. I have a plethora of sunscreens that I use, and honestly, you guys, this isn't even all of them. So this is all of them that I've gathered off of my bathroom counter. Literally, they're all sitting on my bathroom counter. And then I also have some in an empties bin that I'll get around to making a video at some point. But my empties bin also has a ton of different sunscreens in it as well. Now, why do I have so many sunscreens? I'm just obsessive compulsive about skincare products, but if you know me, you already know that. But the biggest difference here is chemical sunscreens and physical sunscreens. Now, they're both vastly different, and they provide different necessary things for the skin, and also your lifestyle is gonna be dependent on which one you choose or which one's gonna be right for you. So, chemical sunscreens contain chemical filters such as Avobenzone, Octinoxate, Homosalate, Oxycrylene, and basically filters like that you've seen on the back of your sunscreens. Now, those are all chemical filters. Some of them absorb UVA, some of them absorb UVB, and some of them will actually absorb both. So the main mechanism of the chemical filter is to absorb those rays and prevent them from penetrating into your skin and causing that sun damage. That's how the chemical filters work. It basically puts a screen over top of your skin that filters everything out. And that's how those work. Physical sunscreens is exactly that. It is physical. It's literal physical protection, and it is using things like titanium dioxide to do that. So also not only titanium dioxide, but there's also zinc oxide. Those are your two main physical mineral filters that are going to be put, not necessarily a filter, but it's basically putting a barrier over top, or a shield over top of your skin that actually reflects and bounces the UVA and UVB off of your skin so it can't penetrate. So they're both doing similar things, but just in a different way. Chemicals absorb the UV light, and physical filters will bounce off UV light. Chemical sunscreens are a lot lighter, I feel like, personally for me. So some examples of chemical sunscreens that we have that I've been using. I have a SkinCeuticals SPF 30. And this has other ingredients that help to brighten the skin by inhibiting melanin production. I have the Avon Intense Protect 50 SPF+, and this came from another country, so this actually has a different chemical filter that is not available in the US. I have the Dermatology Universal Tinted Moisture SPF 46. And then I also have their previous formulation of their Dermatology's SPF 46 Tinted Moisturizer. The only difference between these two is that they reformulated it maybe a touch, and then they repackaged it into a much prettier, more luxurious looking packaging. And they also changed the tint a little bit. Physical sunscreens that I have, so again, those are chemical, those that have all chemical filters in them. And the reason why I choose to use chemical filters sometimes is because they're lighter on my skin. I personally feel like they add more of a glow to my skin. And then also, if you're someone that wears makeup, usually chemical filter sunscreens will lay underneath of your makeup a lot better, so it plays better with your makeup routine, typically. Unfortunately, some people can't use chemical filter sunscreens because they can tend to sometimes irritate around the eye area. So if you're someone that has sensitive eyes, chemical sunscreens might not be best suited for you, but it also doesn't hurt to try. Physical sunscreens I have that I have been using are the IS Clinical Eclipse SPF 50. This is a tinted. One that I actually really like that didn't really get a lot of positive reviews, but I actually really enjoyed it, is the CeraVe SPF 30. This is the sheer tint, so this is a tinted moisturizing formula. That's also a physical sunscreen. I have a couple different UV elements, or UV broad spectrum 40 and the UV broad spectrum, or the UV elements broad spectrum SPF 44. Both of these are physical. This one is tinted and this one is not tinted. I have the Dermatology Physical Tinted Moisturizer SPF 40, which is tinted. It also is available in untinted. Then I have the Ultra Light Emulsion from Isden. And then I've gone through all of the Color Science sunscreens I have tried. I've gone through the Glow, I've tried the Bronze. This one here is the Flex, which is kind of like a hybrid of, I guess, a tinted moisturizer slash sunscreen, but also provides a little bit of a coverage like a light foundation would be, I'm assuming, but it auto adjusts to your specific skin tone. For me, it's okay. It's not something I would ever repurchase. So as you see, I have a ton of sunscreens that I use, and I actually use a lot of them regularly. Some of my favorite sunscreens at the moment, and this is in no way endorsed, sponsored, compensated, whatever. Some of my favorite sunscreens that I've been using for, oh gosh, I don't even know, for at least the last 2 years, that really stood out more so than the other ones, are actually the Dermatology sunscreens. I do have an affiliate code with them, so I reached out to them in order to get an affiliate code to get you guys a discount, because I actually use the sunscreens on a daily basis all the time, and I have been for quite a while, and I wanted to find a way for you guys to save money as well. And obviously, yes, whenever you use any affiliate codes or discount codes, I do get a % commission of that, which helps support the channel. But just know, just because I have an affiliate code with these is not why I'm choosing these. I am choosing these because I actually use them all the time. And I also want you guys to save money in the process. So whenever I can find a way to reach out to a company that is gonna save you guys money on something that I personally enjoy, then I will always recommend things that I enjoy that I think you may too. So trust and believe in that. Getting into reasons why I love these. Originally, I was using Elta MD sunscreens, and I really did favor them initially. Now, I don't know what's changed, but something about it has changed, and most importantly, the UV Elements SPF 44 is a physical sunscreen, and this was probably one of my favorite sunscreens for a little while, but it's just something about it has changed. Like, the consistency is a lot thicker, and then the tint of it, it's a universal tint, but it ends up leaving more of a white cast on my skin than it used to, so I don't know if anything has changed, so I can't really speak on that. All I know is that it once was something I really enjoyed, and then now I don't. I've gravitated away from that, and I'm always trying new sunscreens because I'm always looking for something different. Again, obsessive compulsive over skincare products, that's me. Another physical sunscreen that I really love is the Isden SPF 50, and this is a broad spectrum. It contains 10.7% zinc oxide, and it is a tinted sunscreen. This also does come available in non-tinted. So if you're someone that doesn't want a tint, and this tint is actually fairly dark, it definitely cusps on the warmer tan side of things. So if you are someone that likes a tint, you probably will end up liking this. But if you're someone that does not really gravitate towards tinted, this may be a little bit too dark, especially if you are very light and fair skin. I'm personally very pale and fair skin, and I do not have any issues using this. But for anyone that has a lighter, more fair skin tone than I do, you may find that this might make you look a little bit more tan or more orangey than you prefer. So that should be worth mentioning. And then as for the Color Science sunscreens. I never really loved them. I know they're a great formula. They have great ingredients, great formula. They're physical sunscreens, and they are loved by very many people, but they're also very expensive. And then for me, they just didn't go onto my skin the way that I would prefer. I liked how it felt, but in particular, the glow looks like you rolled your face in literal gold powder. It has too much gold shimmer in there. This may work on someone that is, you know, wears makeup, anyone that puts on a lot of makeup and shimmer and stuff. You may actually like this, but for someone that does not wear makeup, like myself, it was a no for me. And then their new Flex, which is a hybrid type of sunscreen, that's where it is physical, but it also acts like a moisturizer and somewhat of a foundation, I guess. This also leaves a weird type of color on my skin, almost like a cast of something. And it's not tinted to the way that I would prefer it to be with my skin. But again, this may work for a lot of other people. It just did not work for me. But Color Science does have some amazing formulations and some really awesome sunscreens. Their original Sun Forgettable Protection is a great sunscreen, and it has a very light, rosy type of color to it, so that is going to be great for most skin tones. For me, I just prefer something that is going to be a little bit more bronzy and a little bit more tan to add a little more color to my skin. I don't want anything that's going to be rosy going on my skin that may already have a little bit of redness to it. So, loved Color Science sunscreens for their formulations. They just did not work for me. The Is Clinical, this one was a great sunscreen. It was very hydrating. It's a physical block sunscreen. It's an airless pump. I really did enjoy using this one. And this comes in a beige tint. There is a different amount of selections of tints. I just prefer something, this is a little bit too beige for me, and I was wanting something with a little bit more of a tan type of color. So why would I choose a physical or a chemical? So like I said, chemical sunscreens for me are lighter on my skin and they add more of a glow to my skin. But I can't use all chemical filtered sunscreens because a lot of them do actually irritate my eyes. This one in particular, the SkinCeuticals Daily Brightening UV Defense Sunscreen, while I like the ingredients and I like what benefits it offers, it really, really irritates my eyes. So I use this extremely sparingly, and if I ever use this, like I did use it yesterday, I'll use it on my forehead and I'll use it right around my cheek area. But I won't put it around my eyes, and I'll just actually use a different sunscreen around there. So it becomes a little annoying when you're having to layer different pieces of sunscreen onto your face to use it. But I also don't want to waste this because this was a very expensive sunscreen. The Avobenzone SPF 50 that came from another country with a different chemical filter. This was marketed as for sensitive skin. I don't think it's supposed to be a facial sunscreen. I think this is really for body, but you can usually use body sunscreens on your face. This one was extremely heavy for my face, and it made me very oily. It was very thick, but I don't think it was marketed as being a very heavy sunscreen. But if you're someone with extremely dry skin, something like the Avobenzone SPF 50 Plus may be a good match for you. And this is the Intense Protect. That could be something beneficial for someone with extremely dry skin. My skin is really more towards normal, sometimes sensitive because of all the stuff clearly that I do to it. I would mostly choose using a chemical filter on days that I really want my skin to look glowy, and I use a physical sunscreen if I know I'm gonna be outside for a very extended period of time, because I feel like the physical block sunscreens are gonna add a little bit more protection. And you could also actually use a combination sunscreen. Combination sunscreens are gonna contain a chemical filter as well as a physical filter. So you get kind of the best of both worlds with those types of things. And actually Elta does have a lot of combination sunscreens, which are worth looking into. But tried and true, ones that I've been using most of the days, and you know, sometimes I'll even reapply like closer in the evening if I know I'm going out somewhere, are the Dermatology sunscreens. And the reason why is the tint is universal, and it does match most skin tones, and just the consistency of the product is just so nice. So this is the Universal Tinted Moisture SPF 46, and this is the chemical filter. As you can see here, it may look a little tan on here, but once you rub it in, You can see it doesn't leave a very tan cast, but it does leave a nice glow to the skin. It hydrates the skin. It's nice, soft, and supple. I love it. This hand we have the physical, and this is about the same type of color. This one to me is just a little bit creamier of a color, slightly lighter. But the difference between the physical one and the chemical one, to me, is the consistency. The physical sunscreen ends up feeling a little bit more tacky. There's a little bit more tackiness to it. But like I said, the chemical filter sunscreens will really get absorbed onto the skin nicely, and they do end up playing better with makeup. And as you see, it blends right into your skin. It still has a nice glow, but as to where this, my hand feels nice and hydrated, doesn't really feel tacky, this side does actually feel a little more tacky. So you probably can't see that, but this side is tacky, this side is not. So the chemical filtered sunscreen that Dermatology has actually is a lot lighter, and this one does not irritate my eyes. It does get used for me most every day. And the physical sunscreens, I'll typically gravitate more towards and only use when I'm doing in-depth procedures. Like if I'm doing microneedling or deep microneedling, I will not use a chemical sunscreen over top of that skin. I will only use physical sunscreen for the next like 2 days or the next 3 days. I don't want to be putting chemical filtered sunscreens over top of freshly needled wounded skin. And that's just me, and it's just, I think that's a good rule of thumb. And that's why I choose to use physical after those procedures. And then, you know, once my skin is healed, then I'll typically revert back to using the Dermatology chemical filter sunscreen. And that's because it just feels better, performs better, makes my skin look bright, makes my skin look glowy, evens out my skin tone. There is hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, and there's some other skin-loving beneficial ingredients. If you're not using a tinted sunscreen, you're really truly missing out on an added benefit. And by using a tinted sunscreen, you're actually getting those iron oxides in there. That's what's creating the color. It's gonna add another layer of protection of skin for UV radiation and just UV rays in general. So you're gonna get a lot more protection by having those iron oxides in there. So if you're not using a tinted sunscreen, it would be in your skin's best interest to incorporate that into your skincare routine and to find a tinted sunscreen that actually works with your skincare routine, your makeup routine, and most importantly, find a tint that matches your skin tone, just because you will get so much extra benefit from that. I know that was very in-depth for something that wasn't even supposed to. Not necessarily a product review, but just in general, I wanted to share with you that I use a ton of sunscreens, and I use lots of chemical, lots of physical ones, and the different brands that I've used over the course of the last 2 years, some of them were great, some of them were not so great, but at the end of the day, my favorite sunscreens that I've been using are the Dermatology ones. I just thought it was a good idea to take a moment, tell you my experience with using sunscreens and what some of my favorite ones are, as well as finding a way to save you money if you're looking for a new sunscreen to try. If you enjoyed the video, obviously go give it a like, a subscribe, thumbs up, hit the notification bell, leave a comment in the comments below if you've used any of the sunscreens that I've mentioned, or if there's other sunscreens that you personally love and enjoy. Let me know in the comments below so I can actually investigate them. Maybe I might want to purchase them. Maybe I might want to do a review on them. So it's important for me to keep this community engaged and to just have interactions with you guys on a regular basis. Leave something in the comments below, a heart, something. That's all I have for you guys today. I will leave all the information in the descriptions below. Not necessarily all the sunscreens that I've tried, but I will leave some information on the difference between chemical sunscreens, physical sunscreens, which ones that I really have enjoyed the most, and then any type of affiliate codes that you may find interesting. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys next time. So stay healthy, be well, and be kind. Bye!